Alright, we got those Toyota parts in the booth. I got them all wax and grease removed down. The plastic parts, I had to use an anti-static cleaner. Hold on, matter of fact, I'll show it to y'all. It's over here on the shelf. Anti-static cleaner. It works, I guess. First we're gonna put down some adhesion promoter. I got that in my clear coat gun. Put down some adhesion promoter on the plastic parts. Let me see if I can show that to y'all real quick. And then we're gonna put some sealer down on the lift gate and on the plastic parts. And let's get in there. What's up, Autobiography family, man? Today I got a hot topic. Can you get full coverage in one coat of base? Now, this is a commonly asked question, and I see arguments about it online, on social media all the time. But before we get into that, I got to explain what I'm doing here, because I don't know if it's your first time watching or you've been watching since the beginning. So first, I'm spraying down some adhesion promoter. Now, adhesion promoter is so paint will stick to bare plastic. Now, most bumpers come in primed, and all you have to do is sand it, seal it, paint it. But Toyota likes to sand their plastic parts just bare plastic. So you have to use the some scuff paste and it has grit in it, and a gray Scotch-Brite, and scuff it all down. So I use the anti-static cleaner, because all that scuffing on plastic causes static and lint and dirt and everything will come right to it. And then you have to use an adhesion promoter so the paint will stick. And that's what I was spraying down first. And then after the adhesion promoter, it flashes quick. 2 minutes, it's flashed off. I go straight to the sealer. Now, you have one coat of sealer. I seal all new parts, plastic, metal, aluminum. I don't care what it is, it's getting sealer. And here we're using black sealer on the plastic parts and the lift gate. Now, the question, can you get coverage in one coat? And the answer is yes and no. And I'm gonna explain to you why. Alright, so here we're painting black. Now I use the black sealer, so when I go to spray the base coat on, it kind of covers it pretty good. Now, is it 100% covered? I don't know about that. So if you were spraying silver or a lighter color over, say, a darker sealer, you might need to do 2 or 3 coats, man. But my personal belief is I always do 2 coats. Always do 2 coats. And that's 2 coats of base. I'm sorry, I apologize. Not always do 2 coats. I do 2 coats if it pretty much covered in the first, then I'll do a second coat. Now, some colors, you're gonna have to do 3 coats, maybe even 4. I've done yellows and some blues that it's gonna take 4 coats, because it will not cover the primer. I will elaborate in just a minute. Let me run out of the booth real quick, get some paint ready, mix up some paint, and we'll talk about this situation a little bit more. Alright, it's time to put that base coat on, man. This is black base coat going over black sealer. So nothing special, but keep watching, man. If you like to see base coat go on, I'm about to put it on. So the rule is that I've learned over time is when you think it's covered, put 1 more coat. So on this black, right, it looked covered in the first coat. You can see it going on. It's going on nicely over that sealer. By the way, give your sealer the right flash time. Don't go in there after 5 minutes, man. It might cause you problems, it might not, but don't go in there. Wait good 15-20 minutes, make sure it's flashed good, then put your base coat down. But yes, as you can see, it's covering and it looks covered. But I promise to you, maybe not on this black with black sealer, but I promise to you, if you put on 1 coat and it looks covered and you take it outside, a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, you can see that primer spot. And I seen a guy paint a car one time. It was a red Mustang or something, and he used red primer. He put one coat of base on, and in the booth, I swear to you, it looked covered. But when you got it outside in the sun, you can see little dark spots where he fixed all these dents, and the primer was there, because red just didn't cover it in one coat. You needed at least 2, maybe even 3. Usually when I'm painting, I like to do a definite 2 coats, and then maybe what we call a drop coat or a mist coat, orientation coat, and that adds a little coverage, and that gets all your metallic flakes and everything right. But yes, on blacks, some of these solid colors, sometimes even silver, sometimes not silver. Silver is one of them tricky ones. Most of your coverage, I say it's like 70% covered after the first coat. And it also depends on the product line you're working with. I use Sinkins, made by AUTOmotive, and most of the colors cover pretty good. I've ran into maybe a couple that wasn't so friendly with the coverage, but for the most part, most of them cover pretty good. Another thing, get you a cheap sunlight, imitation sunlight, flashlight, and that way you can check and make sure everything's covered. Also depends on how wet you put on your paint. Some guys like to spray dry, some guys like to spray wet, but when I first started out, I was always told it's better to put on 6 light coats than 1 heavy coat and get runs. Now if you're running your base coat, you're really putting it on wrong. It's a little bit harder to run base coat than it is clear coat. Don't put it on that heavy, but once you get comfortable, you can really lay the base coat on like I did with this. I did put 2 coats on this, but I really put it on wet, and you know, I got the heat going so it'll flash off nicely. We'll talk more after I get the clear coat ready for this thing. Man, it's almost time for that clear coat, man. I actually mixed it 50-50, you know, half fast clear, half slow clear, because I'm in a rush. It used the same hardener. I know some clear coats use a different hardener for fast and slow, but the same clear coat. This used different clear coats, but the same hardener. But yeah, man, about another 10 minutes. Then it's time to drip that sauce on there. Try to get that thing slick as possible. We'll see. But it's hot. I use fast clear because I'm in a rush. I got like 2 or 3 other things to paint today. Alright, it's clear coat time, man. I'm using that DV1 1.4 tip C2 air cap, 21 PSI air pressure, only 21 PSI on this DV1 because the gauge is in the middle of the gun, so it reads different than the bottom of a gun. If you're using another gun, usually it's around about 29, 30 PSI or 2 bar. But more about coverage and base coat. So if you see somebody and they say they got their coverage in 1 coat, or and somebody tell them, oh, you can't do that, bro. Like, if they did it, they did it. Like, did the car look good? You know, because I've done some 1 coat things before, you know, but most of the time I like to put on 2. But I have, you know, done it. So you can't tell the next person they're wrong and what's right. I had a guy tell me the other day I don't spray like a robot, so I was doing it wrong, and if I was spraying silver you would really see it. It just so happened it was a silver truck and I did spray it just like that. But it's all good. He just watching the video, he don't know in person, right? So everybody's gonna paint their own way. Whatever works, whatever gets the job done and have it looking good and it lasts a long time, that's what matters, man. Well, I'm out, man. I hope to see y'all back on the next video. I hope y'all learned something. To close it all up, yes, you can get most of your coverage in 1 coat to be safe. If you think it's covered, just do another coat, do a half a coat, do something. Just don't get it outside and see that primer. It's a hurt feeling when you have to redo it. I'm out. Peace. I appreciate all the love. See y'all on the next video.